Alright guys, welcome back to another 117 Industries video and podcast. Today we've got another book review, part of like the original trilogy, First Strike by Eric Nyland. Now this book was kind of the sequel, quote unquote, to the first Halo, right? Like the in-between Halo CE and Halo 2. Of course, when they released Halo CE, they didn't really have whole intentions to make Halo 2. They left it open-ended on purpose because they knew, they wanted to leave the possibility, but it wasn't like they were expecting to. And so this was like the direct sequel after it. And it kind of has the gaps between Halo CE and Halo 2 filled in there. With all that being said, we're going to get into it. We're going to try to stay away from heavy spoilers. But we'll do our best to give an insightful review. That being said, it picks up quite literally right after the events of CE. Installation 04, the Halo ring that we see in CE is destroyed, but the Covenant are still, in that area. They're still chasing down the Chief, and it's up between the Chief and Cortana to escape. And obviously, it picks up kind of right after CE, where they think everyone's gone, everyone's dead. But they do find a couple stragglers here and there, and I haven't read the book in probably a year and a half, so I'm not super familiar with all the characters in that time. But Sergeant Johnson's one of the main ones, Locklear's one of them, James Ackerson or something like that is one of them. Marines, pilots for the most part, and then also they find in space in orbit is the pod with Linda. Linda was on the Pillar of Autumn, like I think it was the Flood. It could be a different book. Anyways, she's part of Blue Team. Obviously, she's part of the novels. But you might wonder, like, how is she there? But she wasn't part of CE. Well, she was gravely injured in the book, the first book, I believe, The Fall of Reach. And then in between, the Pillar of Autumn shot her out, hopefully that she would survive. And then the events of CE take place, and then Chief and Cortana are in space, and Linda is still in that pod, that cryopod, and so that's how they rescue Linda. Meanwhile, you still have the events of the Fall of Reach characters that are still present on Reach, with like Fred and Kelly and Halsey, and there's a couple other Spartans here and there for the most part, and it's kind of about all of them reconciling, getting together, and then there's like this mission where they're trying to stop the Covenant, and they have this giant armada, this fleet that they're going to use to attack Earth, which we know in Halo 2 they do, but they kind of help downsize that, right? I forget what the exact name of it is, but it's like this giant, like, I don't want to say oil rig, but like a refill station, kind of like a spot where all of these ships kind of meet together. And anyways, they blow it up, and they blow up a huge part of the Covenant fleet that was going to be part of the invasion fleet for Earth, right? And it's kind of like a cool little nod to like the Easter egg, like when I think they make the comment, the fleet that attacked Reach was 10 times the size that's attacking Earth, right? And that's kind of part of the reason.
Something's not right. The fleet that destroyed Reach was 50 times this size.
So it's cool to nod to that. Otherwise, it's the stuff in between. It's just cool action with the Chief, Cortana, the other Spartans of Blue Team. You get really cool dialogue with Halsey. And you just get like some really cool filler between like CE and 2, especially with Chief and how he's feeling after the events of CE, and Cortana as well. It's a really good in between novel. I'd say it's part of the first trilogy. I don't even know what the trilogy would be called. I would call it the Fall of Reach trilogy, but Fall of Reach, then Flood, and then First Strike, right? It's kind of all surrounding the events of the first Halo game, right? Fall of Reach is the prequel. The Flood is like the present with CE, kind of behind the scenes, and then First Strike is right after. And I think it does a really good job of kind of sticking with the characters that they've built, sticking with like the character developments they've already had drawn out, and just the character traits so far. And it doesn't really diverge too much from the games either. So I liked it. Eric Nyland is one of the best authors I've ever read. Every time I've read one of his novels, I'm impressed by the way he can write and make something that would normally be boring to me, like, again, space combat. I don't even like flying video games, right? Like racing video games, flying video games. I just don't like them. They're not interesting to me. But yeah, Eric Nyland does an amazing job of writing and making it interesting. And this is no different than it was in the Flood or the, I know he didn't write the Flood, but he had his hands on it. And the Fall of Reach novel, which he did write. So very, very good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone disagrees that these are gold when it comes to Halo books. These three are just amazing. And honestly, when you play the games, I play Halo CE and then I play Halo 2, and I'm like, dang, some of the stuff came out of the blue. But when you read the book, when you read the First Strike and you see that the after of what happened to CE, what's going to happen in 2, it really just puts it together so well. It makes it, I mean, I would say seem like it's planned, but it quite obviously was because it came out before 2. Like, this was so well done, so well written, the way it bridges the gap between the two. And one of my favorite parts was the missions on Reach where the Spartans and Halsey are kind of stranded there and they got to do what they got to do. I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but that seems to be like, you guys are on a planet that's getting glassed by the Covenant. Who cares? But there's a very important thing that they do there, and it's just amazing as a book overall. I mean, from front to end, there's nothing that's really just boring, like I just want this part to be over. Nothing that really is slow. It's a page turner. It's all pretty darn important when it comes to the Halo plot in general, and the parts that aren't crazy important are still just interesting if you're already that deep into the book. I mean, Sammy already said Eric Nyland's like an amazing author. These are the only 2 of his books that I've read, but he quite obviously is.
Yeah. If I had to like give it, a rating, like how much I enjoyed it, it's like a 9.5 out of 10, like a near perfect book. Like, great. And obviously that's within the context of Halo, it's amazing. But like, just even outside, like an author that can make something that's usually boring to me and make it interesting, I think is a brilliant writer, right? And Eric Nyland has that capability, that ability to do that. He does it multiple times in this novel and the novels that he's written previously. And so I gotta give him props for that. It's not just within the Halo context that it's amazing. It's just a great book altogether. So yeah, like a 9.5 out of 10. What would I recommend? Would I recommend reading it? Yeah. If you're a Halo fan, almost every Halo fan has played the first 2 games, right? Some people are hit and miss with 3, some people are hit and miss with Reach, ODST, 4 and 5, but almost every Halo fan has always played CE and 2. Like, those are like, the classic games of that early 2000s generation that carried over to this generation, that like, if a father's talking to his son about what game you should play, it's always CE and 2. And if you're going to read any surrounding outside lore from the video games, I would start with this first trilogy. And this book is no exception to that. So, great. Definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I'll give it a solid 9 out of 10. I think that's the lowest I've ranked any of these 3 books. I think I give one a 9, another 9.5, and this one a 9. They're all amazing. I mean, I don't give books anything higher than an 8, 8.5, rarely, but these things are just, they're gold. They're great. They're awesome. I mean, I very rarely would go back and read a book, but I could see myself in 5-10 years coming back and reading these 3 books again.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the first trilogy and the success of the first trilogy of novels is what catapulted the now massive library of Halo novels and lore that we have now, right? I mean, fans even joke about it now. Halo is no longer a video game franchise, it's a book franchise. Because they put out like 3 books every year, and then we put out a video game every 3 to 5 years at this point. So, and you kind of have this first trilogy to thank to that. I mean, at the very least, we're getting great novels now because of this first trilogy. And obviously there's some now that are hit and miss, but it all started with this first trilogy and the capabilities and abilities of the first trilogy. So, with all that being said, let us know what you guys think down in the comments. You guys agree, disagree, if there's anything we missed. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Something tells me I'm not gonna like this.